think it is about the insurrection, something that happened on live TV, something that by the end looked like a tailgate. His supporters stayed out on the steps of the U.S. Capitol for hours. What do you think it is about that day that is even a candidate to be whitewashed in the minds of Donald Trump's base of voters?
I mean, I think it speaks to who we are as Americans at this point in the game. I believe that most Americans see January 6th for what it was or what it is. They just don't care. It didn't affect them directly, and so in an act of self-centeredness and cowardice, they continue to support Donald Trump. I think those are really the defining characteristics of Trump supporters. You've got your crazies out there, but ultimately you have people that fail to empathize with those of us who were victims of his criminal conduct.
I mean, can you just talk a little bit about how it could happen to anybody? I mean, I don't know your personal politics, but I know that a lot of folks who were there holding the line that day hail from all across the ideological spectrum. Some of them voted for Trump, some of them voted for Biden, but they all stood there and protect the Capitol from Trump supporters who were wielding bats and stun guns and other weapons. I mean, what is it about finding yourself on the other end of Trump that then becomes a fabrication in the mind of one of the two parties?
Well, I mean, let me remind people, I voted for Trump in 2016. I was very much in the mindset that you had one political party that was supporting law enforcement and another political party that was anti-law enforcement. And so that's why I supported Trump. I think many of my colleagues in the police department felt similarly. That being said, my politics played no part in my decision to respond to the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th, just like they never played a part in anything that I did as a law enforcement officer. I very much believe in the separation of law enforcement in this country and politics, despite, unfortunately, it not being the reality. But for those of us that were there fighting Trump supporters, inspired by his lies and his violent rhetoric, we were there to protect ourselves and our fellow officers. And ultimately, those of us that chose to speak out and testify about our account and what we experienced at the Capitol on January 6th, who have been targeted by Trump himself and by his supporters. And that continues to this day. I've spoken in a previous interview about, unfortunately, my mother has suffered at the hands of these MAGA lunatics simply because her son continues to tell the truth about his experiences on January 6th. I mean, her house has been swatted. She had an individual throw a brick at her house just a little over a month ago in the middle of the night. And I guess, most egregious of all, while she was out raking leaves not so long ago, an individual pulled up and threw a bag of shit on her while she was in her front yard. What kind of savage animal behaves like that? But this is the ideology of the Trump MAGA wing of the Republican Party. Anyone that speaks out is a traitor and enemy of America. And so, unfortunately, if you choose a path similar to mine or anyone else who has spoken out, that's what you have in store for you. And the American people as a whole don't give a shit. They just don't care. And this is, this is a time for action. I don't want your thoughts and prayers. My mother doesn't want your thoughts and prayers.